5th of August 2026, a beautiful Wednesday morning. You're welcome to this morning's edition of AM120. I am Oluwafunbi Bello saying good morning. Yes, you know, we take you through the dailies, weather report, our interview segment. And this morning, taking you through the dailies, I have the Nigerian Tribune with me. On the front page of the paper, we have stories on page 7. $10 targets controlling stake in First Holdco after investing 600 billion naira. Tinubu approves salary increase for armed forces personnel. That story is on page 30. And lastly, on the front page of Nigerian Tribune is a story on page 3. Bad road in advertorial constructed under Oyetola's government. No Adeleke's Osun government clarifies. And that story is on page 3. That's all we have on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Taking it on to some of the inside stories with page 3. Reps expand EFCC operations to cover terrorism financing, capital market, cybercrime, others. And the writer says, uphold life imprisonment for financiers of terrorism, weapons of mass destruction, impose 4 million naira fine, 2 years jail term on airing bureau de change, all kinds of legal tender. Bank officials would tip off suspects under investigation, risk 5 years jail term, 3 million naira fine. I won't let Tinubu down as rear chairman, and that's coming from Fayoshe. And that's all we have on page 3. And more stories on page 5. Federal government orders VCs, rectors, provosts to dismiss students involved in kidnapping. Urges collaboration with DSS, others on campus security. World Breastfeeding Week. UNICEF seeks stronger support for nursing mothers in southwest Nigeria. Federal government approves financing framework to electrify 30% of health facilities by 2027. Atiku questions allocation of 1.08 trillion naira for 2,791 projects to one cooperative college. And that's all we have on page 5. And more stories on business and economy. Monetary tightening, widening, real sector financing gap. And that's coming from the Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPPE. A code disco grows monthly revenue to 339 billion naira, metered 584,193 customers in 13 years. Seaport operators lead major cleanup of Apapa Port Corridor. And more stories. IGI PLC successfully complete recapitalization. Nigerian banks remain strong, secure as global cyber campaign sweeps across sectors, continent. That's according to analysts. The extortionate checkpoint police personnel arrested in Abuja, and that's on page 9, giving commendation to the Nigerian police force on the swift response to that incident. And on page 10, infections, hypertension, major drivers of heart failure death in Nigeria, and that's according to a study. WhatsApp votes, ADC faults state police bill, demands fresh process. Oyo government promotes 1,535 local government workers, says exercise reflects Makinde's commitment to workers' welfare, career progression. Nigeria Customs, leadership and Idiroko border, and that's on page 11. Only 0.67% of 573,680 applicants make customs shortlisted recruitment list. Researchers, historians, students advised to verify AI-generated information before use. Borno students develop indigenous robot teacher. All stories on page 13. And on midweek politics, Osun 2026, accord APC in last dance for Abere government house. And that story is on page 17. And more stories on politics. Despite endless crises, PDP remains a factor in Nigerian politics, and that's coming from Biggs. Court dismisses NDC suit against some provisions of Electoral Act, and that story is on page 21. And more stories on that page. Onoyekon, not impartial. It took sides in 2023 elections. Wike alleges. Senator Adiola promises to implement national teachers policy if implemented. And taking it to the back page where we have more stories. PFIPC scam, more allegations made against Adeyemi. President Tinubu approves salary increases for armed forces personnel. And on the back page where we have some sports stories, WAFCON, Spain likely to replace Echegini against Egypt. Eagles or Lakunle defend Rostov move. Panic as police shut down MKO Abiola National Stadium. And on the back page, the last story, WAFCON, Falcons will determine own fate today. And that's coming from Madigu. That's all on the Nigerian Tribune this morning. More stories with Victor.
Thank you very much, Fundy. Now, this morning, we have interesting stories on the Vanguard newspaper where wicked northern youths at war over Onaiyekan. It's a story you find on page 5, but this is from the front page. The Cardinal Onaiyekan is not impartial. It took sides in 2023, says Wike. He spoke truth on hardship, the northern youth. Bishops have a right to criticize government, says Amechi. We stand with Onaiyekan. CBC and Middle Belt Forum says he spoke out of concern for Nigeria and not Mali, says the Catholic Laity Council. But of course, we have more stories right here. But then, of course, that will be after the commercial break this moment.
Super Malt Multivitamin Junior. Super Malt Multivitamin Junior. Being mommy simplified.
This award goes to the most punctual student of the entire school. And the winner is Lisa Solomon.
Something is telling me that she makes her daughter skip breakfast just to be here. You people could have just asked. I would have been happy to tell you my secret.
Enjoy instant goodness with John Vent's 3-in-1 chocolate. The quickest start to your morning.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on. Malaria gone.
The gold standard of rice, the finale. High swelling index, non-sticky, no stones. Big Bull Gold, the gold standard of rice.
Very much for sticking around. We see have interesting stories right here on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And going on to what we have right here. On page 19, dealers effect petrol diesel depot price cuts. On page 10, Delta unveils roadmap to unlock 3,000 megawatts potential. Define your vision. Investors will follow. IFC tells government. Tinubu approves pay rise for 250,000 armed forces personnel. It's a story you find on page 8. And on page 12, I walked away from power rather than compromise my integrity, says Ebura Jolo. Well, on page 26, Reps Committee to interrogate alleged PFIPCDG at undisclosed location and date. Businessman explains how he paid 400 million naira for contract. And there's something on page 9. Stop new loans until revenue improves. Ex-YFMDG and EPO tells federal government. Otodolaha is over 50% stake in First Oldco, says he's invested over 600 billion naira in bank. You'll find more of that on page 8. Go back to page 9 where we have the story. Nigeria to lose over 50% of UK aid as US, Europe / foreign assistance. Now on page 6, 21 feared dead, 37 abducted as terrorists attack Sokoto community. Okay, let's flip on to what we have on the inside pages. On page 4, we have this one from Zamfara. Girl child, Zamfara constructs 42 new secondary schools. And also, we have this one, climate change. Zamfara government begins distribution of 700 clean cooking stoves. Zamfara NDLEA move against drug abuse and human trafficking. Now to what we have on page 6. Gunmen ambush joint security patrol in Plateau, kill 2 operatives, 5 ISWAP bomb experts, medical officer killed in premature IEDs explosion in Borno. We also have this one as well on that same page. Cardinal Police neutralize kidnappers, arrest 16 suspects, recover firearms and 78 million naira solar equipment. Police arrest 3 suspected killers of 2 cops in Rivers. And we have KB Police arrest abductors of new army recruits. And to business economy, where we have some stories. CBN urged to rescue distressed microfinance banks. Nigeria's foreign reserves is at 17-year high, says CBN. All of that on page 7. Now to page 8, where we have resident doctors and federal government reach truce to suspend planned strike. And the 2027 polls, court dismisses NDC's suit on qualification of candidates. The federal government seeks unity between ECOWAS alliance of Sahel states to defeat terrorism. On page 9, Keyamo intervenes as TSC crisis threatens domestic airline operations. And kidnapping, federal government orders varsities to expel guilty students and tighten security with DSS. On page 10, a bravery to investors, Delta is open for business beyond oil. And yes, we have more happening right here this morning, talking about high-tech, identity confusion. More Nigerians used to replace SIMs in fear. And yes, there's a knock on the NCC and telcos for poor handling of refund lines, and the NIMC says it's not their fault. Now to page 15, Wiki and Amechi battle over 2027 elections. NDDC director says make environmental education 4th pillar of ecological governance. Okay, court asks to void APC Ndokwa Ukwani primary election. And onto all we have right here on page 25, alleged corruption. Police invites VDM summon AIG Jimo. Adeleke called for a credible poll, didn't attack Tinubu, says the campaign council. And we have courts start relocation to Lagos Borderline Road Complex. Sanwo-Olu inducts 150 firefighters. Okay, there is on page 26, Naira Watch, Naira down to 1,420 Naira per dollar in parallel markets. And on page 28, it discourages joint investment. I can't stay faithful to just one man. Did abortion ruin my fertility? In love with my lover's half-brother. Okay, these are interesting things that you might want to read up on page 28. But now to Vanguard Sports on page 31. 2026 WAFCON. Super Falcons set to peg Egypt for quarterfinal tickets. We also have CAF Awards inspection team concludes facilities tour. Usora reveals the miracle behind Commonwealth Games success. LSFCA collects candidates for August 8th election. Tinubu hails Team Nigeria's performances at Commonwealth Games. Nadal congratulates Yala as she makes WTA history. Vanguard denies Infantino says he's not part of investment proposal. Moshood Abiola National Stadium closed indefinitely over security alert. And of course, the stories continue onto the back page where we have the Waffle B under 20 tourney. Finally goes to Cote d'Ivoire for final ticket. And that's the list of today's matches at the WAFCON, the Champions League qualification, the Europa League qualification, the Conference League qualification. So that's results from games played yesterday with South Africa, defeated Burkina Faso a goal to nothing, and Ivory Coast defeated Tanzania by 2-1 in the 2026 WAFCON. Well, that's as much as we can take on the newspaper review segment this morning. And of course, we're going now for the weather reports.
This your 100%
Babes, are you sure you want to spend this much on hair?
Since your landlord just increased rent, I saved for this one separately on money points.
No, you say you save on money points.
Yes.
This madam money points here, the array of your dryer there is target savings money points I used to have it. The rest of this my sub is fee savings money points I used to do it. The salary of this my staff is save as you transact, son.
Jennifer, money points save as you transact. Money points fixed savings and money point target savings.
Why the German won't contribute to you? Why should they? Come on, oh, you go give your money to Adaku to save. You see money points accounts there. You don't go open a savings account. Now Adaku you shoot. I beg everybody inside this my saloon. Oh, yeah, bring out your phone and download the money points hack now. Even you. What are you waiting for? Download the money points hack now. Adaku, wow, open money points account too.
Money Point, made for your progress.
Win big in the Milo Text and Win promo. Yes, 6 brand new cars, along with billions in airtime and cash prizes are up for grabs. Just buy any 20-gram Milo promo sachet, find a unique code inside, then dial *8011*4#. Or scan the QR code on the pack for a chance to win big. Buy more, win more. Promo starts July 1st to October. Milo.
All right, thank you very much for staying with us. Still on AM120. This morning, we will be talking health. Last week, thereabout, I think on Thursday, the National Association of Resident Doctors said they will be going on strike, and they gave federal government ultimatum saying once it is August 10 and their demands are not met, they will go on an indefinite strike. But yesterday it took a turn. The president of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Muhammad Sulaiman, said the resident doctors will be calling off the strike, or have called off the strike, following a 3-hour meeting with the chief of staff to the president, Femi Gbajabiamila, yesterday. But let's see how that meeting went. Was there a resolution to that meeting? The intervention, what's the conclusion of the intervention? Are we still seeing a strike? Is this still going to take place, or all has been resolved? To do justice to this conversation this morning, we have the President, Association of Resident Doctors, ARD, University College Hospital, Ibadan, chapter, Dr. Uthman Adedeji. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Unfortunately, this is a conversation we keep having sometimes twice a year, sometimes once a year. And we really honestly do not want to keep having this conversation, especially when it has to do with health of Nigerians, health of people at stake. Let's start with the meeting from yesterday before we talk about, or before even talking about the meeting. What are your demands? Why are resident doctors threatening to go on strike? Because let's piggyback a little bit. I remember in January, we had this conversation and there were 19 demands listed by the resident doctors. Unfortunately, we are still talking about some of these demands. Were they not met? Go ahead, doctor.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning to our viewers. I would say that, you see, the healthcare workers and virtually all workers in Nigeria, they are a very understanding set of people. And then when they come up with